All right. Well, good afternoon. Once again, I should say good evening to all of you here. Ohio News and Weather. Do have a tornado warning coming live for that. Getting ready to move out of the state, but it is still for portions of the Mid-Ohio Valley right now. So let's get to it. On your screen, this is all we're going to be talking about right now during this broadcast. So, again, tornado warning here for a portion of southeastern Ohio here in what we consider the Mid-Ohio Valley. So, it's 7:01. A few minutes ago, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Belmont County, east central Guernsey County, north central Monroe County, northeastern Noble County, and this goes until 7:30. So they're indicating ping pong ball size hail and radar indicated tornado possible here. So if you're in this area, you need to get to the lowest level of your house and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, tornado warning coverage here, just joining us here for southeastern Ohio. You need to be in your tornado safe shelter if you're in this particular area. You can see here, on your screen, ping pong ball size hail. So you can see the 2-inch hail marker on your screen as well. So that's something we are keeping a very, very close eye on here. So you want to make sure that you're, again, in that tornado-safe shelter, getting to the lowest level of your house, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Now, the one thing to keep in mind with this as well is that we do not have a confirmed tornado. This is radar indicated, and we'll look at that here in just a minute. But again, putting up the safety graphic here, where to go in a tornado, get to the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and make sure you cover your neck and head. If you're in a mobile home, get out of the mobile home, get into the nearest sturdy structure that you can. All right, so let's get back to the graphics here real quick. Let go back here to the live radar. So this is what we're dealing with here. I'll put the storm into motion for you as well, and then we'll also get a track on this here in just a moment. So again, tornado warning for Belmont, Guernsey, Monroe, and Noble counties. That goes until 7:30 right now. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings outside of that and across Ohio. We are not going to talk about that right now due to the tornado warning that is in place for us here. So looking here at this, kind of putting that into motion for you. It's taking a southeasterly turn here, moving kind of off towards the south-southeast. If it's going to be out of Ohio here in a few minutes. So if you're in Wetzel County, in West Virginia, or Marshall County, if this holds together, it'll be heading towards your direction. But still has a little ways to go to get out of Belmont County and portions of Monroe County, and just to the little bit of the tip there in Guernsey County. For all intents and purposes, it's pretty much out of Monroe County and even in a portion here of Noble County. So I'm going to stop that real quick. Let's go ahead and flip it back to current, and let's get a deeper dive of this thing. You kind of see that deep dark purple. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this again, kind of here in southeast Ohio, just to the east of I-71. So Barnesville, just to the north of this, Batesville, just to the west of this here, and you kind of see these deep dark purples. That's 2-inch hail indicator right now. And let's flip over to our winds and wind directions here. Very embedded rain wrapped situation. So if there is some sort of tornado, more or less it would be rain wrapped, but you can kind of see here some of this rotation that's going on here. And I'm going to back that up to kind of show you here a few minutes ago. Let me go ahead and sync this up real quick on when they issued this here. Kind of see it fire up right there. Back it up here. Right there is where this is the scan they issued it. You kind of see here, right here is when they saw that rotation, and then the next scan, it was still there, and then finally they went ahead and issued that warning. Now, as we let the scan progress here, we're going on here just a little bit. This was at 7:03. Let this progress here. It is starting to fan itself out just a little bit, which is a good thing. So it's not as tight and it's not as in-depth rotation. I can tell you over the latest couple of scans here, this thing is weakened up quite a bit. However, wouldn't be surprised you're seeing some really strong hail inside of this thing. We're seeing some stuff coming back here on a product called correlation coefficient, that we're seeing some really, really deep dark purple. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing some hail and or some minor rotation inside of this. So again, if you're just joining us, tornado warning here. We're only going to talk about the tornado warning. Sorry, that's just the way it goes when we have a live tornado warning. That's our policy. We'll continue to talk about this until it drops. Then I might be able to give you a little bit of an overview for the other counties. So apologies for that. So if you're just joining us here, we do have a tornado warning here for portions of the Mid-Ohio Valley, and I'm going to turn off some things to get it cleaned up here, turn off the watch box here a little bit as well. So again, here we do have this particular tornado warning that it goes in effect until 7:15. So if you're joining us right now, again, sorry, we're only going to cover the tornado warning. This tornado warning, I got to flip on the right thing there. 7:30. I'm sorry. This tornado warning goes until 7:30 for southwestern Belmont, east central Guernsey counties, north central Monroe, and northeastern Noble counties. They updated this just a couple of minutes ago. They're still saying it's capable of producing a tornado near Barnesville, moving southeast at 30 miles an hour. Quarter-size hail and radar indicated rotation at this point. So again, move to the interior room. The lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you're in a vehicle or mobile home, get out of that and get into the closest substantial structure that you can find. So that's kind of what the what we're talking about here. Kind of see that inflow notch of where this particular storm is. Now, I could say over the last couple of scans, it's lightened up just a little bit. However, we're still going to respect that polygon within this area. You kind of see it's more or less now, if there was rotation with this one, it's more or less in Belmont County and approaching Monroe County here. Not so much in Noble County anymore, or Guernsey County. The majority of this, as you kind of see this inflow area wrapping right into Belmont County. And sorry, it's kind of a weak drawing, but kind of right into Belmont County. Go ahead and draw that again. I'll back out the radar just a little bit, but you can kind of see here this inflow area right here on the map. So that's the areas that we're looking at right here. If there's any rotation going on, you got to remember too as well that we are looking at a few minutes ago. So that's unfortunate, but we are still getting good radar coverage in this area because we're on the eastern portion of the state, so the radars that they normally use over here are good to go. So there is some other severe thunderstorm warnings outside of this, some for north central Ohio and some other things. We're not going to talk about that until this one clears. And right now, it looks like there's enough rotation for this to continue at this particular moment. Now, I have to watch it, and we're really looking at here. I'll kind of show you. I'll zoom in just a little bit. You can see we have some severe thunderstorm warnings, some deep dark purples, some good hail going on over by Cambridge. But what we're looking at is that inflow area, and we're continuing to watch that. And then we compare that with the winds. Let's go ahead and look at the base velocity. This is the winds. Red's moving toward the radar site. Green's moving towards the radar site. Red's moving away from the radar site. And I'm looking at the radar out of Charleston, which is the National Weather Service office here that has issued this warning. So, Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh issued the warning. But I'm looking out of Charleston. Gave me a little bit better look. Let's flip over to Pittsburgh, actually. I kind of got myself confused. I thought I was on Pittsburgh. I was a little backwards there. Let me go ahead and look over here. There's the rotation. If you want to look at a little bit cleaner scan, because we're moving towards Pittsburgh on this radar scan, there's that embedded area of rotation that we're looking at. And if we take out the storm motion, we're looking at something called storm relative velocity. There you go as well. So if I turn on just regular reflectivity, there's your regular rain, how hard it's falling, potential hail. Now we're looking at the winds here. And I'll back that up. Let me go ahead and put that into motion too. When they first issued it, go ahead and back that up a few scans here. All right, back that up right there. You can kind of see, holy moly, we got some pretty good wind going in different directions. And let me back that up again here for you. Kind of skipped on me. Back it up. Right there, man, we got some pretty good winds, right? We got some pretty good rotation there. It's like, okay, they wait for a scan. Next scan shows still there. Tornado warning is issued. And let's keep it going here. Kind of weakens a little bit further. It's becoming embedded. And now we're kind of looking at live, a little bit still there. It's a little bit stronger, weakens again, a little bit stronger, weakens again, and now we're looking at current. So it kind of tightens up and then weakens. So there is still some rotation there, and that's indicative of what we're seeing at the moment. Now, we'll have to wait and see what happens over the next scan or two, but this may eventually die down here. Based on this current scan, looking at base velocity. Looking at reflectivity, though, we're still seeing kind of some of that inflow area that we're continuing to keep an eye on that's inside of this tornado warning. So again, if you're inside this tornado warning, you need to be in your tornado safe shelter. Again, we're not going to talk about any other counties right now. We're only talking about the tornado warning counties right now. That's our policy. Apologies. But we'll stay there on this tornado warning, and then we have a chance to talk about the rest of them. So let's look here. I'm just going to kind of take it all the way out, kind of show you where you're at. If you're just joining us, we are focused in on the tornado warning only at this point, only here in southeastern Ohio, the mid-Ohio Valley. Let's go ahead and zoom in here, kind of take you where I'm at. We're almost to the West Virginia border. We're looking here at this particular tornado warning. For all intents and purposes, it's moved out of Guernsey County and Noble County, waiting to see there on the latest update. And as I say that, they dropped the tornado warning. But there's still definitely an inflow notch there. But they went ahead and dropped the tornado warning. And I turn on the reflectivity there. The latest scan that just came in, it's dead. But as you can see, as we keep backing, as we back that up, it kind of getting stronger, weakens, getting stronger, weakens, getting stronger, weakens. But now it looks like it's pretty much worked over, and they went ahead and dropped it. And they also dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for that as well. So that's something to say. I'll say it that way. Normally, not sure if that severe thunderstorm warning only went till 7:15, so it is expired on time on what's going on. So. All right, so now that we're tornado warning free, I will do a quick overview here of Ohio. So let me go ahead and flip back into our reflectivity product. And actually, due to the radar outage there, still in Wilmington, I'm not sure, that still is down. 3 hours ago, it went down. Let's go ahead and flip over to, did it come back up? Maybe it's still down because that's pulling from another source, still down. That's an old scan. Let's look here at, let's go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to look here at the composite view, which gives us kind of an assembly of radars since our radar is down here for Wilmington in that particular area. So, all right. So I'm zooming. I'll zoom out here. I'm going to go out to our default view. And let's take a look here. The Storm Prediction Center continually updates their outlook here for today. Here's that category outlook. I showed it earlier. This is the setup, the slight risk area of storms. Now, let's combine that here with the current frontal boundary that we're looking at. So that current frontal boundary coming in, you kind of see it's moved a little bit ahead of this. This is a little bit in the past as this updates, but that frontal boundary is sagging right along here. You can see that line of storms. Sorry, that's in yellow and that's in yellow, but that's where that frontal boundary is setting up. And that's where it's at. And this whole thing eventually slides off as we head into the overnight hours. And past 11 o'clock, the watches are done at that point, so we don't expect too much severe weather in the overnight hours, which is a good thing. We'll take that. Let me see here. Let me turn on that and clear that. Boy, that keeps wanting to do something stupid on me. Sorry. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll turn on the severe watches here. So pretty much portions of Ohio here, they kind of split it right down the middle. For portions of you towards the east, you're till 11 o'clock tonight. You can check our page for specific details. If you're to the west of this kind of phantom line that I'll draw here for you real quick, you're about 10 o'clock tonight for that severe thunderstorm watch. Now, with that being said, we don't see a high risk of severe thunderstorm, or excuse me, tornado risk tonight. Now, this one-off, we always say there's a spin-up possibility. We always have to keep that in mind. But with that being said, we're not seeing a whole lot except in this particular area over here. And actually, let me just turn on the having a hard time with this tool that's not working as normal. Let me turn on the category outlook for the Storm Prediction Center tornado outlook, which gives us a pretty good view here of what we're looking at as far as probability of tornadoes for today. They have a 2% risk here, pretty much extending Columbus eastward, and that's kind of lined up right where we've seen some tornado warnings. Outside of that, we did have some rotation coming in over the lake over Sandusky earlier. There is damage reports coming out of Sandusky right now. There probably was a little bit of rotation. Definitely over the lake there was some rotation going on, but there were also some very strong gusty winds and some straight-lined winds that were embedded as they came into Sandusky. I know there were some bricks that flew down on some of the buildings. Not getting a clear picture on that. Nobody was hurt. A lot of branches and things down there up in Sandusky, and that is the city of Sandusky, not Sandusky County. Ohio Bike Week's going on up there right now. So we are looking here at the rest of these storms. Pretty much once this front slides to the south, it's going to be over. So the good thing with this is the atmosphere was raked over earlier today, and we had some other storms on the other boundary that went through. So that's a good thing. And once this moves past, and once that sun sets, we're really going to start to die down rather quickly tonight. We're not going to have that heat element in play for us tonight. So that's a good thing. Now, speaking of heat, let's look at current temperatures still hovering around the 80s. Now, 46 obviously is an erroneous number. That's been having an issue here from that METAR station, or that's a private personal one. I'm not sure what that is, but 46, it's not 46, I guarantee you that. So that's an erroneous report, but still in the 90s here, portions of Dayton, and then kind of getting into 60s in portions. You kind of see this. That frontal boundary is starting to sag to the south, but the bigger picture here today is the dew points, and the dew points are tropical in some areas, which means over 70. Feels like Florida, very sticky, very wet, very muggy, but we're seeing 60s to 70s across the area, which is definitely enough for storms to fire, which they have right along that 70 corridor here and kind of run across the lake boundary as well. So the bottom line is here, I guess, when we're talking about this, if you're in extreme northwest Ohio, your severe threat is rapidly decreasing. And I would guide you, because some pretty good guidance on this right now. If I go back to the severe thunderstorm watch, I expect here over the next hour or so, you'll start to see these counties in northwest Ohio drop off. But right now, I would say if you're still in this watch box, you still have a chance to see some severe weather over in the evening hours here over the next couple of hours. This severe thunderstorm watch, depending on where you're at, ends at 10 or 11 p.m., and we're not expecting much in the overnight hours. But you could see some scattered showers, that the main threat today being large hail, secondary threat being straight-line wind damage, and then obviously that embedded tornado risk that can't be totally isolated. Bottom line is, have a way to receive warnings, and you'll be fine. So pretty much that's what we're going on. You can see here Cincinnati up to Dayton. You got a little line of showers and storms coming through. No radar coverage there, which is hard right now to see, but nothing too crazy going on right now. A lot of that stuff's moved off towards Columbus. Toledo getting in on a little bit of the action, but they're not in that severe thunderstorm watch. Neither are friends in Ottawa County, even though they had a little bit of some thunder bumpers here right now. But once this whole thing kind of sags south a little bit, it's going to be over for the evening. The bigger thing is going to be heat next week. Temperatures well into the 90s. Heat index is near 100 next week. So you could see some embedded showers and storms all across the state tonight, especially if you're in this severe thunderstorm risk. I'll turn off the radar, kind of just put up the general risk area. This is the severe thunderstorm watch box. If you're in that area, you could see some storms. Nothing to write home about. We're only at a level 2 of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center today. Just make sure you have a way to receive warnings over the next couple of hours. All right, we're going to wrap it up for now, but we'll continue to come back live as we need to. Otherwise, continue to watch our page for some of that heat and those heat indexes skyrocketing for next week. Summer is finally here. Also remember, please, even more important today, as we had one reported fatality from a lightning strike earlier in Guernsey County in Senecaville, Ohio. Please remember, when thunder roars, go indoors. That's so important. Please don't be outside during lightning or any type of thunderstorm. All right, with that being said, I hope you have a great evening. Again, we'll continue to come back live as we need to. And again, we remind you